Okay, so we will be taking a look at the Wisconsin UPC for this learning plan. You will be completing the Wisconsin Uniform Placement Criteria on your movie character. So the first section of the UPC will be identifying your client's name, date of birth, what today's date is, the address, telephone number, city, state, zip. So for that information, whatever you don't get from your movie, you will be making up. Just make sure that it's realistic. And then the second box is your name, telephone number, the name of the agency you're working for, the agency telephone number, and then the address, city, state, and zip. So when we're completing the UPC, you will want to make sure that you are reading the directions and answering all of the questions that are asked. So for criteria A, is the individual intoxicated? You will check yes or no. And then is the individual incapacitated? Check yes or no. For dimension 1, does the patient exhibit any signs or symptoms of withdrawal? And or is there a history to suggest that a significant risk of withdrawal is present? So then you click yes or no. For yes, if you click yes, you will want to answer the severity indicator questions that are listed below. You'll check all that apply, even though you will be scoring the highest criteria. So then you take a look at the treatment service qualifying criteria and check all that apply. Then you go on to Dimension 2. Dimension 2 covers are there any current physical or mental health conditions or complications that are evident or any which evident when the patient is under the influence of drugs. Again, check yes or no. If you check yes, you will want to answer the severity indicator questions. Check all that apply, even though you'll only be scoring the highest. Dimension 3, are there any current emotional conditions or complications and or behavior patterns evident or that become evident when the patient is under the influence? Again, yes or no. Then check the severity indicator questions if you check yes. Dimension 4, does the patient present a significant relapse potential? Yes or no? If you check yes, you'll want to indicate what severity indicator questions, check all that apply. And then Dimension 5, does the patient's environment present a risk for the substance abuse disorder? So yes or no, and then check the severity indicator questions. So now we're looking at the final page, which is the summary. So the qualifying criteria will be on page 2. You'll want to check, put an X in the boxes for dimension 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then you'll take a look at the dimensions, and when you're looking at that severity indicator levels, you'll look at A, B, C, D, and E. Which one did you check that applied? You will put an X in those boxes. There will be, if you scroll back, so let's say if we're looking at dimension 5, dimension 5 is right here. Let's say you checked yes, and you checked yes for indicator A. So that's worth 3 points right here. So when you're looking at the scoring guide, you would go to dimension 5 and you would put a 3 in dimension A under dimension 5. So then you will take a look at entering the scores below for score 1 and score 2. Score 1 will be whether or not there is a withdrawal or detox indication. And then score 2 is all of the dimension criteria. So then you want to enter the highest, the single highest score found under dimension 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you will put those numbers in there, and that will give you your level of care key. So dimension 1 being residential intoxication monitoring services, D2 ambulatory detox services, D3 medically monitored residential detox services, D4, medically managed inpatient detox services. And then there's A1, transitional residential treatment services. 1, outpatient services. 2, day treatment services. 3, medically monitored treatment services. And 4, medically managed inpatient treatment services. And so then that will give you your level of care that you will be referring your client to. So the last page, interviewer's comments. This is a summary of what your findings were by completing the UPC. And then the individual statement, so this says willingness to accept recommended level of care. You will make this up. Make sure that you put your client's statement on whether or not they're willing to accept the recommended level of care in quotes. So it may look like, in quotes, I'm willing to go to detox, or I am willing to attend outpatient counseling, whatever your client may say. Then below there is the recommended level of care. So that scores 1 and or score 2. So you'll list that. And then an alternative level of service identified. That is for individuals who, let's say, they meet criteria for medically monitored treatment. However, they do not have funding to be able to attend that type of treatment. Maybe they have no insurance, or they have state-funded insurance, and so they don't have the financial means to attend the level of care that is being indicated on the UPC. Then you would give a lesser form, and then you would justify why that is. So it may be that they don't have the funding, so you're referring them to outpatient services, but they will have to be attending an IOP group that meets 9 hours a week, and they would be seeing a counselor weekly for individual counseling. Something of that effect that is the best that you can do with the circumstances that you have. So once you've completed that, then you will put the name of the agency individual is being referred. So where are you referring this person to, and the phone number, and then as well as the agency address, and then you sign it and your patient signs it. Please let me know if you have any other questions.